It's 5:30 in the morning. We are ready to go. It's early. See you at the ferry. Goodness, ferries are noisy places. Jasper almost jumped out of his skin, didn't you, Jazzy?
Yeah.
We're going to head to Dingwall. Now, the nice thing about Teslas and road trips is at least on the way back, it's really, really easy. Because all you do is just go to wherever you were before. I'm charging quite a bit sooner than I originally thought. We've only done 40 miles, but what I'm hoping is, because Jasper's just gone to sleep, I'm hoping he'll stay asleep. Oh, well there goes that plan. He's woken up. I absolutely love going for a drive. Seriously, driving this car, oh sweet, love it, perfect. Time to get cracking. That was quite an experience. You see, our bladder range is clearly less than the car's range. Never leave home without it. 1 hour for lunch. I love the pizzas from that place. And her little play with Waze. We're now on 192 miles, which should be fine to get us to our first supercharger of the day, which is Abington. And I'll tell you the thing about Waze is I think it's brilliant. I particularly like the traffic thing that it's got. But the problem with Waze is because it's on my phone's going to run out of power over a 12-hour drive. I've decided I'm going to see how long Waze will last. My bet is that by the time I get to Abington, it's going to basically run my phone down to nothing. Obviously, I've got the Tesla sat-nav as backup. He's being a bit of a pickle. That's all right. I can live with that. I mean, to be fair, I am keeping him cooped up in the car for Jasper. Please try not to be noisy. So anyway, on the first leg of the journey to Pitlochry, because I was basically pushing the range of the car quite a lot, and we did about 200 miles with only 15 minutes of 40 kilowatt charging. But what that meant was that I was quite conservative, shall we say, with the speeds. You know, it was a fair amount of not bothering to overtake trucks. Now, however, we're onto the motorway network. We're going to be at a supercharger in 101 miles, so I've got no reason to drive slowly. It's going to be a little bit more of as fast as the road and or speed limits will allow. In terms of Waze, I think Waze is actually brilliant. It does lack some features that I would like. Ideally, what I'm looking for with a route planning system is something where I can add different stops in for different lengths of time, and I can set how long I stop at different places, and it'll tell me whether the traffic's going to be good or bad, or which bit of the journey is likely to be the worst, and you know, like proper route planning. Waze is almost there, but you can only add one waypoint. We've got a long way to go. We've done 200 miles now, so we've probably still got over 400 miles worth of driving, which is an awfully large amount of time to have a small child in the car screaming at you. I mean, on the one hand, he's quite entertaining and cheeky. On the other hand, I sincerely hope he's going to go to sleep pretty much now. I've just had a great idea. Why don't I not stop at Abington and instead just drive to Gretna Green, which at the moment says I'm going to arrive with 15%, but I'm about to find a nice truck and pull in behind that, which will cost me 4 or 5 minutes, but for those 4 or 5 minutes it means I'll arrive at Gretna Green probably with about 20%. But this is the great thing about going to a supercharger. I feel like I can rely on them, so I don't worry anything like as much about turning up, you know, with a less than ideal quantity of power left in the battery. Well, I've got about 7 minutes to go before I get to Gretna Green services, and Waze has finally run my phone down to that 30% point where I can't live with it and it's got to be plugged in. I think I'm going to get a new holder for my phone because the one I've got at the moment is all flimsy and rubbish. Yeah. And through very careful driving, I have managed to get that 15% up to 22%. That's not very well signposted. Surely they mean charging only. Right, we're going to be here for a good, well, till it hits 90%, which I guess is going to be about 45-50 minutes. The thing with Waze, the reason why I've kind of gone back to it a bit, because I've given it a go before and I found it just to be a little bit too much of a pain versus using the built-in sat-nav. However, when I was in Orkney, the car didn't get signal, and although I could have connected it to a hotspot on my phone, that always just seemed like a little bit too much hassle. So I just thought, as I used Waze, I decided actually it's got some really, really good features that I love. Things like telling me what the speed limit is on a road. You know, I'm one of these people who kind of close a door, lock it, leave, and then turn around and come back in order to check that the door is properly locked. I see a speed camera, I think, I immediately start scanning the road for a confirmation. I'm also a big fan of the fact that it seems to know what's wrong with the road. When you get stuck in traffic, it just knows, because it's kind of like the social media, the Facebook for sat-navs. Good old Jasper, I mean, he has been incredible again. I'm going to give him the tablet when we head off on the sort of second half of the journey, because, you know, he just gets too bored sitting in the back of the car otherwise. He'll go loopy. Oh. Hello, camera world. We've got coffee, a little car for Jasper to go with his boat and his drink. 15 minutes remaining on the supercharging. And I got a new phone holder. This one's from Belkin, and it's a good deal more stable. As Jasper's going to be using the tablet, using my phone mobile hotspot, I figure it's going to run that battery down extra fast. So what I've done is I've run a wire over the steering wheel here, and I'm going to plug it into that battery bank if power becomes an issue. Oh my goodness me, Grantham is 200 miles. Apparently we'd get there with 4%. I still haven't decided if we're actually going to go to an ecotricity point on the way to Grantham or just straight to Grantham. What I have decided is I'm not driving at 50 or 55 because it will just take too long to cover 200 miles. It'll add like an hour to the journey. I'm not doing that. But if I hit a load of traffic, it might save me enough energy anyway, because, you know, England, traffic, to kind of, you never know, I might wind up doing the 200 miles in one go anyway. I know I said I wasn't going to do this. The other charger's broken. Unbelievable. What's extra annoying is we're only stopping because my bladder doesn't have the same range as the car, which just makes everything that much more urgent, you know, for me. So put in 4.1 kilowatt hours. One of the reasons why I don't like connection chargers, because sometimes you just want a quick zap and dash. And we're going to arrive with 14% now. We spent half the time there faffing around with chargers and apps and not charging. Imagine if that had been a supercharger. Not only would it have been quicker, which is always nice, but critically, we'd have just plugged in and it would have been charging. That was a good example of why I rate superchargers as more than just quick chargers. It's that speed and utility. You just get out the car, plug it in, job done. Now, okay, I'm not going to fault Ecotricity for the adapter that I have to use, but the faffing with the app, and then the charger doesn't work. It's got an old connector on it, which I think was seized. I don't know what the problem was. That is their fault. On a more positive note, however, I am still loving Waze, and my new phone holding thing seems to be quite stable, which is good. I tell you, I have done a fair number of miles now. Done 534 miles, which probably means that it's already the furthest I've ever driven in this car in one day, and lightning. I'm pretty sure it says don't use quick chargers in a thunderstorm, but I'm going to ignore that. Yeah, efficiency has been amazingly good. 276 watt hours per mile in total for the day. I have had to drive a bit slower because of traffic and roadworks, and when it started raining quite heavily I dropped the speed by 5 miles per hour because that just seemed like a good idea. But for the most part I've been chugging along close to the speed limit. This is an amazingly easy car to do miles in. I think having regular brakes makes a massive difference as well, actually. It means that you don't get so physically or mentally exhausted. So we've been on the road now since the ferry for a little bit over 12 hours. God, that is a long time. Yes, there's definitely some lightning out there though. Well, the light's gorgeous tonight. Still a little bit damp, but at least most of the rain seems to have stopped. That was good timing. Car's chugging along at a solid 101 kilowatts. Our adventure started here, didn't it, Jasper? What feels like a long time ago. Swear to God, I have never worked so hard for a holiday, quite frankly. I'm not convinced by Tesla's decision to put the superchargers on the far side of the car park. That was some drive. A little bit over 650 miles. I'm really knackered. So I think we're just going to say goodnight here. I hope you've enjoyed today's vlog post. If you have, remember to like it, share it and subscribe if you haven't already. And follow me on Instagram if you don't already. And I'll see you tomorrow for the next installment of my daily vlog. Bye. You know, I really look forward to the day that there's no story around charging an electric car. Unfortunately, we're not there yet.